one of the problems that I've been having is with these mirrors. They keep falling down towards the road like that. About every 15-20 minutes I have to roll down my window and push this thing back up so that I can see, and then it's flopping all around. I contacted Velvac, and the Velvac guys were super helpful and told me that to fix this, I just need to take this plastic bezel off that says Velvac on it here, and then this mirror glass will come off, and then from there I'll be able to tighten up the adjustment here. So we're gonna do that. So for this project, I ended up needing a painter's tool or a putty knife, a small pry tool, a 3/8 inch socket with extension, some silicone adhesive, and I also used some painter's tape and rubbing alcohol. The painter's tape just protects the mirror, and I used the putty knife or the painter's tool as a prying surface. You can tell it's a little difficult trying to get this off without breaking it. It's kind of a fragile little piece, and in fact I did end up breaking some of the tabs on it, as you can see here. But it ended up not being a really big deal. To get the glass off, there's a spot you can pry underneath here. It was a little scary, but really not a big deal. It's just silicone adhesive. You can see the mechanism here. That's a 3/8 inch bolt. So I just grabbed my small socket set and tightened that up. You'll need a little bit of an extension. You might be able to do this with a screwdriver, but those bolts are actually pretty tight. The Velvac guys said only to tighten the bottom ones, but I didn't think it was tight enough yet, so I actually tightened the top ones a little bit as well, and got it real good and solid. Maybe a little too tight, but I don't want this thing moving around. So once you've got everything the way you like it, it's time to start reassembling. First step was I cleaned up any leftover silicone with a little bit of rubbing alcohol and a paper towel. Then reapply some new silicone adhesive and reassemble the glass. Putting this back on, pretty easy to align. Not really much to it, just push it back on there and hold it for a second. You can see I've got a little too much silicone, so I just cleaned that off with a paper towel before I reinstall the bezel. As I mentioned, I broke a couple of clips taking this off. It didn't seem to be a problem. It snapped on there really nice, held in place. I would recommend removing the masking tape before doing this. I ended up having some masking tape stuck underneath there. Kind of got in a hurry, and that was kind of a pain in the butt. But in general, this was a pretty easy repair. It took me about 30 minutes, including figuring it out. I still want to do it to the passenger side mirror. I expect that'll probably take me about 15-20 minutes. A little side note, while I was on the phone with Velvac, they did mention that you can reorder just that plastic bezel ring from them. So if you happen to break it, if it's a little more brittle than mine was, you can just call them and reorder it. Otherwise, let me know how this repair goes for you, and happy travels.